We have Miss Geanie Melendez from MassHousing, and she's going to talk about their programs. This is very specific to Massachusetts, right? Not a town in particular, but all of Massachusetts. Jeannie, take it away.
Thank you, Denisha, and thank you, Financial Education Associates, for having us and putting this together because this is such great information to be able to share with everyone who is on their journey to purchase their first home. My name is Geanie Melendez. I'm a relationship manager for nonprofits with MassHousing, and we're going to get started right away. First of all, let's talk a little bit about who MassHousing is. MassHousing is a quasi-state agency that started in 1966 and will be 60 years old next year. And when we started, the sole purpose was to assist low and moderate income first-time homebuyers in the state of Massachusetts. The programs that we're going to talk about today are for the state of Massachusetts only, in every city, every town, every county, but only in Massachusetts. We offer fixed interest rates. Apologies, I got to move this little thing over here. Low down payment options and a job loss protection insurance at no extra cost. And we'll talk about this stuff as we move along. But when you're obtaining a MassHousing loan, you're actually going to be working with one of our approved lenders. I'll also show you how to find some of our approved lenders. The loan officer that you work with, they're going to guide you through the process. They're going to guide you through the process of obtaining a MassHousing loan if that is something that you're interested in. As you move through the process and you become a homeowner, once you're in your home, you will actually be making your monthly mortgage payments directly to MassHousing. Our website, www.masshousing.com, has a lot of information for you. You're not going to break it, so feel free to go in and poke around to get some of the information that we're going to discuss about now, but other information as well. And that website can be translated in different languages: Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, Creole, and Chinese as well. All you have to do is toggle the language and it will translate everything for you if you prefer to review that in a different language. MassHousing offers programs for a variety of income levels. So out of the programs that we talk about today, you may qualify for one, you may qualify for another, but mostly a lot of the programs that we talk about today are going to be based on how much you make. What is your income? Once you reach out to one of our participating lenders, you're going to speak to a loan officer. They're the ones who are going to assess your income, the location preference, where you're looking to buy, what city, what town, what county, and any other qualifying factors based on the application process to find the best MassHousing loan for you. But we do have some general requirements. You have to be a first-time home buyer. That means that you haven't owned a property in the last 3 years. You also have to complete a first-time home buyer certification requirement class. And it's kind of like the ones that Denisha was just talking about. They teach these classes and provide you the certificate that is used for a lot of the programs that we talk about today. Landlord education is required if you're looking at a multifamily property. You have to owner occupy the property. That means that you buy it, you live in it, you own it. And the next question I get asked is, well, Jeannie, for how long? Well, as long as you have that MassHousing loan, you have to own or occupy the property and then meet any other qualification guidelines for the mortgage, whether it's income or credit requirements. MassHousing offers different down payment assistance products. And again, depending on your income, you may qualify for one or you may qualify for another. Okay. And I'm going to show you some examples of the income requirements for some of the programs that we have. But one thing that I want to make sure that you understand and take away from this is that down payment assistance loans can be combined with other community down payment programs. Now, you may not be able to combine programs between different agencies, but if you search, if you do a little bit of research and maybe you're looking at a specific town with the resources available on the internet, whether it's ChatGPT now or whether it's just a Google search, searching for down payment assistance and the city of, insert the city that you're looking to buy in, and just look to see what pops up because you may be able to stack these programs together. Okay. What does that do? Gives you more money. potentially gives you the opportunity to have a lower monthly payment regarding your mortgage, or it potentially could help you qualify for more. So make sure that you're doing that extra research to see if there's other things that you can take advantage of. Regarding mass housing, we have three different down payment assistance products. And the down payment assistance can be used towards down payment. You can split it up, use some of it for down payment, some of it for closing costs. You can use it for single MI premiums. MI stands for mortgage insurance, or you can use some of it to reduce the rate. There's different ways, and working with one of our approved lenders, they can guide you to the best use of that money. When we talk about down payment assistance based on income, right? We use the term AMI. AMI is area median income. And depending on where you fall within that area median income and the percentage that's used for the program will determine your eligibility. So for this first example, the Workforce Advantage 4.0, the total household income limit has to be at or below 60% of the area median income. Again, once we show an example, you may not qualify for this one, but there's two more. Okay, so keep your hopes up. But when we talk about our programs and this specific one, it's based on household income, and household income is everyone that's working in that household. They may not be on the mortgage, but if they have income in the household, you would have to use that to qualify for the product. The term is a second mortgage because it is not a grant. It is truly a mortgage at a 0% interest. So there's no interest that's paid with this $30,000. There's actually no monthly payment that's made with this $30,000. But if you sell your home, refinance it, or pay off the first mortgage, then this money does become due. So if you sell your home, it becomes due with the proceeds of the sale. If you refinance, then you could refinance your first mortgage and this mortgage to pay this off if you had to, or you can just truly pay it off if you had the funds. It's available to first-time home buyers statewide, so any city, any town in the Commonwealth, and it's eligible for properties that are 1 to 4 unit homes, including condominiums and planned unit developments. If you are above 60% of the area median income, but below 80% of the area median income, then you would qualify for the Mass Housing Mortgage Program. This truly is a second mortgage that you will be making monthly payments on. So it's $25,000 at a 2% interest rate over 15 years. So it's a 15-year mortgage at 2%. That monthly payment is $162.88. So you would be making that payment along with your first mortgage payment. And the lender that you work with will make sure that you qualify for this program, okay? But similar to the Workforce Advantage, if you sell the property or refinance, then whatever balance is due, whatever balance is left over at the time of that of refinancing or selling the property, you would have to pay that balance off. So in this case, you're making monthly payments. So as you go along, you owe less. So if 10 years down the road you decide to sell, then whatever balance is outstanding is what you would have to pay off. If you're above 80% of the area median income, but below 135%, then the same type of loan, it's $25,000 at a 3% interest rate. That monthly payment is $172.66. Same terms apply. It's 15-year fixed rate mortgage that would become due if you sell or refinance the home. I'm just going to take a quick pause for any questions that I see in chat. What is the penalty if you pay off early? There is no penalty if you pay off early. You can pay it off in full at any time. And I think that's it. Moving along, I mentioned a unique mortgage payment protection benefit that is with our conventional loans that are insured by Mass Housing. Our loans come with what's called MI Plus. It's a unique benefit to us. There is no other agency that has this. Actually, there might be one more in the nation. I think it's in Pennsylvania, but it is unique to us. Included with the mortgage monthly, with the mortgage insurance, this benefit would cover up to 6 months of your mortgage payment if you lose your job, and it would cover up to $4,000 per month. This benefit can be used any 6 months. It's a total of 6 months. It does not have to be paid back, which is really nice. And once you've made the first 6 monthly payments of your mortgage, this benefit becomes active. And I tell you, since 2004, we've paid over $7.1 million in benefits on over 7,000 claims. We've helped people stay in their homes while they're in that transition of looking for new employment. And it's available to our conventional loans with MassHousing. Along with everything that I just talked about, we offer fixed competitive rates for the life of the loan. We do affordable loans. So if you were interested in a property that's a lottery property, those are usually new construction properties that you would have to apply for to potentially win to be able to buy. So it's a lottery type of home. We do really well with those. We don't have an asset test, which basically means it doesn't matter if you have a little bit of money in your savings accounts or a lot of money saved up. As long as you qualify based on your income and the other qualifying criteria, doesn't matter how much you have in your accounts. Our servicing is local. There are different programs that we also offer once you're in your home, but if you're an eligible veteran, service member, reservist, National Guard, or Gold Star member, we have a $2,500 closing cost credit that's available that you don't have to pay back as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about our conventional loan programs that go along with our down payment assistance programs. So if you can tell, the colors color coordinate. So the Workforce Advantage 4.0 is your first mortgage program. It's based on household income. So I gave an example that if, there are 4 people in your home and 3 are working, that's household income, even though maybe 2 are only applying on the mortgage. If you qualify for this program, it's the $30,000 down payment assistance is available. That one doesn't have a monthly payment. It's a 0% interest rate. This one doesn't have mortgage insurance, but it is paid by MassHousing, but you do have the benefit of the MI Plus payment protection if you lose your job. And when you're looking at these programs, you have to use a MassHousing approved lender for both loans, for this one and the down payment assistance. Just to give you an example of income limits for the Workforce Advantage, and this might be small on your screens. I'm going to go to Suffolk County. Boston, Chelsea, Revere, Winthrop is included in Suffolk County. If we move over 4 rows for a household of 4, the maximum income for this particular program for everyone in the household is $99,240. So if you're under that income limit, then you would qualify for this program. This one is the only one that is specific to different towns within the counties. So it is going to be critical that when you're talking to a lender that you kind of have an idea of where you're looking to buy, because the income limits change from county to county, but also potentially from city and town, um, from different cities and different towns. The MassHousing mortgage program, so the blue program, as they would say, this one is the one that has the monthly mortgage payment, whether it's at a 2% interest rate or at a 3% interest rate. It's available for all cities and towns in the Commonwealth and all counties. And if you're under 80% of the income limits, you qualify for the $25,000 at 2%. If you're over 80 but under 135, then you qualify for the 25,000 at 3%. If I use the same example as Suffolk County, if you're under 80%, then the maximum income limit is 121,680. If you're under 135% of the income limit, then the maximum income is 205,335. So you would have to make less than that to qualify for this program. Now, this one is not based on household income. This one is based on who is applying on the mortgage. It could be one person applying on the mortgage, or it could be two people or more applying on the mortgage. But whoever is applying on the mortgage would have to make less than these income limits that are listed below. Okay. The same MI Plus payment protection benefit is available. It's also eligible for 1 to 4 unit properties, including condominiums and PUDs, and you're using one lender for both loans. I'm going to quickly check the chat just to make sure that we cover questions. What is the household size for this one? For this one, the MassHousing mortgage, it's not based on household size. It's based on who's going to apply on the mortgage. The previous one is based on household size. Can you explain again the costs? The cost for closing costs? You know, if it's closing costs can vary, and closing costs can vary from loan to loan, from product to product. But what you're going to do is when you're working with one of the lenders, you want to get what's called the loan estimate, which will break down what the costs are for the specific loan that you are applying for. And that's what you're going to use to be able to compare the different products if you're looking to choose to work with different lenders. Okay. Moving along, just quick check of time. Um, we also offer federal housing administration loans, or what's called FHA loans, and the same criteria applies except for one thing, but depending on the program, you are still a first-time home buyer. Income is either going to be based on household income or on who's on the application. The down payment assistance is going to be the same. That's available for both programs. You're still using a MassHousing lender for both loans. The only difference between FHA and conventional is that FHA, you don't have the payment protection benefit. FHA has their own mortgage insurance fund, and unfortunately does not have payment protection. And when you're working with the lenders, they're the ones who are going to be able to help you decide which one's going to be the best program for you based on your specific situation, because everyone has different situations. The lender's the ones who's going to be able to make the best decision on which one's going to be the program that you would be able to qualify for. But know that whether it's FHA or conventional, the down payment assistance is the same for both programs. To get started with MassHousing, you're going to be able to work with one of our approved lenders. You can scan the QR code here. You can go to our website, www.masshousing.com/lenders. We break down the lenders and highlight lenders based on production. So once you're in there, you can see some of our top loan originators based on the number of loans they originated. We can also break this down by county if there's a county that you're looking at, because the programs are based on where you're looking to buy, not necessarily where you live. Additionally, we highlight our top 10 lenders. And then if you expand the list and maybe you're looking for a lender that you already do business with, maybe you bank with them, you can expand the list and see who's listed on there. Our lenders list do get updated regularly because we may remove lenders, we may add lenders. So make sure that you regularly check in to see if there's someone on there that you may want to work with. But that's going to be your first step. Start with one of our lenders to guide you through the process. Sign up for our newsletter. It's full of tips and suggestions for first-time home buyers. If we have new programs coming out, new down payment assistance, if we have anything that's happening that is worth of us announcing, we will be able to, you'll be able to get that information first. So click on the QR code or go straight to our website to sign up for our newsletter. The process can be a little scary as you go through it. You're not alone. We have a team that is available to help you. If after this class you want more information or you have more specific questions, you can reach us Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. 888-843-6432 gets one of us directly. Um, you can also email your questions to homeownership@masshousing.com. We regularly check our mailbox and are responding fairly quickly within the same day. And then a lot of this information is also on our website. So www.masshousing.com. You can go in there and search through our website to get more information on some of the programs that are available. And whether it's looking for home buyer education, looking for a lender, looking for one of us, you'll be able to get that information there. But we are here to help you with this journey. While it may be scary, being able to have the support that you're going to listen to today is going to be critical through this for you. So thank you for your time today. And I'll double check questions and also open up for any questions while we get our next speaker ready. Will this presentation be sent to us to email? I can share this with Denisha and she can pass that on. So yes, how come banks pull my credit and mortgage company doesn't? Not everyone takes FHA. What is the name of that loan? No, not everyone does FHA. So you want to work with a lender if that's something that you're interested in that works with that. When you mean not everyone takes FHA, there are some, FHA does have, unfortunately, a stigma attached to it, but I think that if you're working with someone that knows how to maneuver some of the programs, that's going to be to your benefit. How come banks pull my credit and mortgage company doesn't? I don't know how to answer that question. It could be depending on whether you're doing a pre-qualification or pre-approval. Pre-qualification, if I'm going to explain this, a pre-qualification doesn't require a lender or a mortgage company to pull your credit report. They can probably qualify you based on the information that you share with them. If you know what your credit score is and you say my credit score is 720, they can basically give you some information based on what you've shared. A pre-approval is a little bit more in depth, and pre-approvals usually require a credit pull and usually are underwritten by a second person to make sure that you meet the requirements of the program. How do I find a realtor to help start with the buying process? I technically would probably start with a lender first. Start with a lender, and lenders potentially have relationships with different realtors. Also, if you're looking at properties online, you might find realtors are listing properties, reaching out to them or asking a friend maybe if they worked with somebody. There's different ways to connect with a realtor, but start with knowing if you are able to buy and start with a lender is my best suggestion. I tried calling and it wasn't easy. Annette, we may have to follow up with you. I don't know who you were calling. That work with MassHousing that can help us with looking for homes. Yes, we do a lot of work with realtors. And one of the things that we do is try to do a lot of education with a lot of different realtor boards so that they are aware of the different programs. Are all realtors aware of down payment assistance programs? Not all of them are. So that, you may have to do a little bit of your own research to see what's available to you that you're able to stack. And there's different, after the workshop, there'll be different resources shared with you as well. Do you have a mortgage calculator on your site? I don't have a mortgage calculator yet. We're working on that. And you're welcome for answering your question. So I hope I got all the
You
chat
did. You did a
questions.
phenomenal job. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jeannie,
You're
for answering all
welcome.
of the questions, for the presentation, which was very, very informative.
You're welcome.
A question that someone asked before this session, I figured I'd save it for tonight to ask, with everyone.
Mhm.
For the down payment assistance, it's does the person, and they're using your loan product, do they need to come to the table with funds? Is it that they need to submit their offer with money and then they get reimbursed at closing? How does it work in terms of the down payment assistance? Or is there a minimum requirement that they need to come to the table with?
Yeah, so there's no minimum requirement that you have to come to the table with, but when you're looking to buy a house and you're making offers, yeah, you do have to put some money down. If you're taking advantage of our down payment assistance, then potentially that money can be reimbursed to you that you've already put down, unless you're using it as an addition to, right? It depends on your specific situation. You may be using it as an addition to our funds, so you're putting more money down, or you may be looking to get some of that money back so that you have a cushion after you purchase. But depending on your situation, there's ways to work around that, and the lenders will be the ones who are going to guide you through that.
Okay, perfect.
You're welcome.
And any other questions, guys? Giving, offering people going higher and not doing. Yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so that is a thank you, Annette. With the inspections, that's a ruling that's I wouldn't it's
It's going to
changing
change.
come
Yeah.
October 15th,
Mm-hmm.
where sellers cannot require you to waive a home inspection, which we have seen a lot, especially post like during COVID and immediately post COVID, where it's like if you have an inspection, you're automatically denied. Those laws or those rules will be changing come October 15th, where everyone has to sign a disclosure noting that you have the right to an inspection, and they're not supposed to automatically decline you because of that. So they're still working on the documentation for that, so the waiver, but that is forthcoming because it has been an issue for first-time home buyers because a lot of investors are able to waive that inspection and first-time home buyers are not.
Yeah. It's going to level the playing field, which is really good and help in those situations. But at the same time, don't give up because, when it's meant for you, it'll happen. But there a lot of people are experiencing that higher offers, waiving inspections and different things, but don't give up.
Don't give up. Nope. There's always a way. There's a path
Hmm.
forward, and it just requires some strategy.
Hmm.
I would say, in regards to selecting an agent, yes, ask the loan officer, but also ask people who you know who have successfully
Hmm.
purchased recently, right? Who did they use? Did they have a good experience with them? Because I think that's very important. That's one part of it. And making sure they're knowledgeable about the various programs, right? If you're working with someone and they've never heard of anything that you spoke about today, how do they craft your offer so that the seller understands these programs and the nuances of them? So it's
Hmm.
really important that when you're interviewing agents, you're asking them these same questions. You are going to be a more informed buyer after tonight, right? In terms of the various down payment assistance programs available. So when you're interviewing agents, can you tell me what programs are there to help me? If they don't know any, right? That probably
Hmm.
means they're taking you to the loan officer that the one or the two that they always work with, they have no clue what's out there that may be better for you. So you want to ask these questions, okay?
Hmm.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you so much, Jeannie. Truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.